Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Battle Through the Heavens 2. Rebirth of Emperor Yang Part 23 based on novel. So let's start. Half a month later. The wind howled between heaven and earth. It was clear that the hot sun was in the sky, but people didn't feel the warmth at all. In the jungle, on an open space, Xiao Yan, dressed in white, sat on the ground, made a practice seal with his hands, and the energy of heaven and earth involuntarily gathered towards Xiao Yan, which was refined and absorbed by Xiao Yan. After an hour, Xiao Yan withdrew from the cultivation state and felt the fighting spirit filled in his body. Xiao Yang smiled slightly. So far, the injuries suffered by Xiao Yang in the war with the three Hall Masters can be regarded as complete. The physical injury healed, but the pain in Xiao Yang's heart never decreased. His injury was healed, but the injury suffered by the blow blocked by Xian Chongkai was still there. Xiao Yang's palm turned over, and a huge black ruler appeared in Xiao Yang's hand. It was the Xian heavy ruler. It's just a pity that after the fist and palm of the three-hall lord, the Xian heavy ruler has been replaced by cracks. At first glance, it seems that as long as you break it gently with your hand, it will fall apart in an instant. Xiao Yang held the giant ruler from under the giant ruler with one hand, and stroked it gently on the surface of the giant ruler with the other hand. Xiao Yang can naturally use his own strength to make Xian Chongkai float in the air, but Xian Chongkai is now on the verge of collapse. In addition, Xiao Yang's feelings for this Xian Chongkai and Yao Lao, even if he has strength, how can he rest assured to let it float in the air? Xiao Yang's hand stroked the tiny cracks on the Xianchong ruler, and his heart also missed the days when he carried the Xianchong ruler on his back and wandered with Yao Laoi on the mainland. Xiao Yang's face was indifferent, the corners of his mouth were slightly hooked, and a smile appeared. Seeing this, the bone in his body nodded secretly. The sun's heart is so calm. Even such a great hatred can be so calm. It's unusual. The enemy who shows everything on his face is not terrible. The terrible thing is the enemy who will smile at you after losing. Because you often don't know how terrible the abyss hell exists under that smile. After a long time, Xiao Yang's men made a slight movement and the light in their hands flashed. Xian Chongkai was put into the ring by Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang's body moved. At the next moment, a figure in white suddenly appeared on a mountain top about hundreds of miles away. Xiao Yang stood on the top of the mountain and stood with his hands down. The power of his soul rushed out from the center of Xiao Yang's eyebrows and spread in all directions. A moment later, Xiao Yang frowned slightly, and then his body flashed again, flying away towards the depths of the mountain forest. A quarter of an hour later, Xiao Yang's body gave a slight meal, and the power of his soul spread out again, bringing everything within thousands of miles into his eyes. 9-level Warcraft, 7 heads, 8-level Warcraft, 16 heads, 7-level Warcraft, 49 heads, 6 levels hundreds, and the rest are more. Xiao Yang's exploration, those Warcraft were also suppressed by the sudden strong breath. They all gave in and lay on the ground, even afraid to make a sound. Xiao Yang's face was indifferent, the cold light in his eyes flashed, and then his palm raised with a dull bang. In Xiao Yang's palm, a gorgeous flame rose. At the moment of the rising fire, the world suddenly became dry. Even taking a breath of air, I felt the dry pain in my throat. Xiao Yang's mind moved, and the strange fire in his hand spread a strange wave. The next moment, without waiting for the reaction of those Warcraft, it turned into nothingness, leaving only a trace of pure blood and magic cores of different colors. Xiao Yang's mind turned. The next moment, above the sky, was replaced by the magic core. The strange fire in Xiao Yang's hand flew out, then spread out and wrapped all the magic cores. In the sound of hissing, the magic core was refined by different fire, leaving only drops of pure energy. A moment later, Xiao Yang's palm turned over again, and the Xian heavy ruler appeared in Xiao Yang's hand. In the space in front of Xiao Yang, a large group of gorgeous energy droplets are floating quietly. Xiao Yang pushed his palm forward and pushed the Xian heavy ruler into the liquid drop. Then, the knot in Xiao Yang's hand changed. The next moment, in front of Xiao Yang, a large group of strange fire appeared out of thin air and wrapped towards the droplet. Different fire completely wrapped the droplets. Under the continuous refining of different fire, those droplets were also merging with Xianchong ruler at an extremely slow speed to repair the ruler body of Xianchong ruler. That was? His tilde, it seems to have been heard. Is that? Oh. Xianchong ruler? It's amazing that Xianchong ruler appears. Tut tut. When Xiao Yan was repairing the mysterious ruler on a towering ancient tree only 1,000 feet away from Xiao Yan, the young man in a blue robe was looking at Xiao Yan curiously. It seems that something happened to the Xian heavy ruler. Do you want to repair the Xian heavy ruler with the blood of all animals and this pure energy? Ha ha, it's still too naive. Xian Chongkai, how could you repair it so easily? In this case, that thing depends on you, The man looked at Xiao Yang's action and murmured in a low voice. After dozens of hours, the large energy droplets finally completely immersed in the Xianchong ruler, but Xiao Yang was not happy at all. Because what was supposed to be repaired is the same, but now nothing has happened, not even a little sign of repair. Xiao Yang frowned and sighed. After a long time, Xiao Yang said faintly, "Friends over there, after watching it for so long, should they come out and meet?" In the range of Xiao Yang's breath, Xiao Yang can obviously feel a slightly obscure breath. The master of this breath also made Xiao Yang's heart a little tight, because his strength had reached the level of 4-star and half emperor. Moreover, under Xiao Yang's exploration, this person's age will not exceed 35. Such a young semi-imperial strongman is really what Xiao Yang has seen since he became emperor. Xiao Yang frowned slightly when he heard the speech. His words were gentle and there was no trace of hostility. But what surprised Xiao Yang was that the man was talking about Zhuangzhongqi, which made Xiao Yang feel strange. After a good film, Xiao Yang tentatively replied again and said, "In that case, Your Excellency has seen enough, so you shouldn't go." When the man heard the speech, he raised his eyebrows gently. What he said is really straightforward. But then the man reacted again, moved in his heart, smiled softly and said, Of course, since all my friends have ordered me to leave, if I don't go, I'll look like a rogue. I'll leave now." Before the words fell, the man turned his body and walked towards the depths of the mountain forest. However, when he was leaving, he glanced at Xiao Yang slightly. Xiao Yang saw this, his eyes twinkled slightly, and he guessed something in his heart. So, when the man disappeared in Xiao Yang's sight, Xiao Yang moved, flew up from the top of the mountain and chased the man in the direction. A quarter of an hour later, in the depths of the mountains and forests, where the breath reaches, you can feel a faint pressure. At least, the pressure is unmatched for those Dozuan. Even if the powerful Doshan comes here, you must be very careful. At the moment, in the jungle, in a slightly remote cave, a giant beast covered with tiger patterns is sleeping quietly, blowing gusts of wind from his nose. Looking at its breath, this warcraft has reached the 9th stage of the existence of the later stage of warcraft. Its strength is comparable to that of the 8-star saint of mankind. It is the dominant power in this area. Suddenly, the giant beast's copper bell-sized eyes suddenly opened, and his whole body was covered with sweat. At the moment, the bloodthirsty eyes were covered by a wave of terror. The wisdom of the 9th level warcraft is not low. Although I don't know why the high-level warcraft on this continent won't take shape, their wisdom is actually there. Just now, the king of the forest felt a terrible pressure in an instant. Although the oppressive master has converged, he already feels a kind of terror like the extinction of form and spirit. After several breaths, under the exploration of the warcraft, the owner of the breath finally left here. But the next moment, without waiting for it to relax, another breath flashed and the tiger warcraft trembled again. Although this breath is slightly weaker than the previous one, this warcraft is the same, and dare not make any rash move. Outside, at the edge of the sky, a figure in a green robe stopped slowly, and Xiao Yang's figure also caught up thousands of feet behind him. The man turned and saw a look of surprise in his eyes. Xiao Yang's speed obviously surprised him. Tut tut, I can catch up with this speed with all my strength, but he is so relaxed. It seems that he has some means. Seeing Xiao Yang's speed faster than himself, the man was only a little surprised. The expression on his face was occupied by a smile again. However, it's more to my heart. I think it's possible that I can really use his strength to succeed at that time. The man whispered softly, and Xiao Yang's figure came to him from that distance. Smiling at the plain and steady Xiao Yang in front of him, the man in green robe opened his mouth and said with a smile, "Oh, my friend's speed is really unexpected. As the saying goes, reach out and don't hit the smiling face." What's more, the man's voice in front of him is so peaceful that Xiao Yang's voice is naturally gentle. It's just some means. After all, if you go out, you can't escape without means. The man didn't say much when he heard Xiao Yang's fooling words. He smiled and said to Xiao Yang, "There must be a reason for friends to follow." The man's words were so insipid that he could not hear any doubt. Xiao Yang smiled and said, "You have a way to repair my ruler. I want to follow." Hearing the speech, the man smiled more brightly, nodded and said with a smile, "I just like to deal with smart people. It's convenient and fast. In that case, let's get to know each other first." The man bowed his hands and said with a smile, "I'm Luo Jin." Hearing the speech, Xiao Yang silently wrote down the name in his heart. Then he smiled, returned it with courtesy and said, "Under the rock owl." Luo Jin heard the speech, the light in his eyes flashed slightly, smiled at Xiao Yang, bowed his hand again and said, "Brother Yang Xiao, nice to meet you." Xiao Yang also smiled and bowed back. "Brother Luo Jin, nice to meet you." Luo Jin nodded and did not say any more polite words, but went straight to the theme. "Brother Yang Xiao, the crack on your giant ruler is already deep into the main core. If you are careless, it may break into 2 sections. At that time, I'm afraid you have integrated all the talented Earth treasures in the world. I'm afraid it's completely impossible. Your previous behavior of forced integration will only add to the injury of this giant ruler. If you do it again, I'm afraid this giant ruler will be destroyed." Xiao Yang's face changed slightly when he heard the speech. If Xian Chongkai really broke in two at that time, he would be the culprit of all this. Thinking of this, and then thinking about the importance of Xuan Chongqi to himself, Xiao Yang immediately felt a sense of guilt in the depths of his soul. But fortunately, all this has never happened, otherwise Xiao Yang will really run away and find the 3 hall leaders to kill and avenge. Xiao Yang glanced slightly at the corners of his eyes and mouth, rolled his throat, swallowed a mouthful of spit, and then woke up from Luo Jin's words. He thanked Luo Jin, and then Xiao Yang was a little anxious and asked Luo Jin, "I dare ask Brother Luo. I don't know what the repair method you know is. This giant ruler is very important to me. I hope Brother Luo can tell me." Luo Jin, hearing the speech, did not explain it directly, but asked Xiao Yang another question. Luo Jin rubbed his chin with one hand. After a few turns in his eyes, he seemed to be guessing and asked Xiao Yang, "Brother Yang Xiao, if I'm right, the casting material of your giant ruler itself should be rare flame meteorite black iron." When Xiao Yang heard the speech, his eyebrows were slightly picked. He wondered why Luo Jin asked so, but he still nodded and agreed. Luo Jin also seemed to have expected Xiao Yang's doubts. Without Xiao Yang asking, he continued to smile and say, "And what I said about the repair method is related to the flame meteorite black iron." Xiao Yang heard the speech, and suddenly his eyes lit up. In this case, it is indeed the best way to repair the Xianchong ruler. The Xuanzhong ruler was originally made of Yang meteorite black iron. It will be very simple to repair it with Yang meteorite black iron. Of course, Xiao Yang had already thought of such a simple method, but it was so easy to find the Yang meteorite black iron. Yang meteorite black iron is one of the precious weapons and materials on the mainland. Its output is very small. Every time it appears, it will cause storm and shock on the mainland. Xiao Yang thinks that the flame and meteorite black iron used by his mysterious heavy ruler may be the last piece in the world, but now it seems that it is not so. Hearing Luo Jin's words, Xiao Yang also understood in his heart. No wonder Luo Jin asked himself about the material of Xianchong ruler. In this way, it seems that he knows where there is Yang meteorite Xiantai. Xiao Yang was determined in his heart, so he turned his eyes to Luo Jin, but Luo Jin didn't say much. He smiled and nodded at Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan was even more happy when he saw this, but then Luo Jin's words made Xiao Yan's face become dignified in an instant. After Luo Jin nodded at Xiao Yan, he said, I really know where there is young meteorite black iron, and I also know that it is a young meteorite black iron with a space of several feet. However, there is a person there. His strength is probably about 8 stars and a half emperors. Xiao Yan convulsed fiercely at the corner of his mouth, but in order to repair the Xian heavy ruler, Xiao Yan also held back. Moreover, if he is accurate, he is not a person, but a warcraft, high-level warcraft in shape. The words, high-level warcraft, were bitten by Luo Jin, which made Xiao Yan's face more dignified. The warcraft comparable to the 8-star and a half emperor is really too scary for Xiao Yan. After a long time, Xiao Yansai turned his eyes to Luo Jin, frowned and asked, In that case, I think Brother Luo also has something to take? Otherwise he won't come to me for cooperation. When Luo Jin heard the speech, a slightly embarrassed smile appeared on his face and explained to Xiao Yan with a smile. For me alone, this is really some trouble. If I'm not careful, I'll lose my life. However, now there are you and me, and the probability of success will naturally be greater. When Xiao Yan heard the speech, the expression on his face was still a little unnatural, but in order to repair the Xian heavy ruler, Xiao Yan also threw himself out. Xiao Yan's eyes coagulated and asked Luo Jin, Brother Luo, since you are so clear about the things in the hands of the warcraft and know his strength, Brother Luo must be quite familiar with it. Please explain the origin of the warcraft first. Luo Jin heard the speech and knew that Xiao Yan had been taken aboard by himself, so he directly said, That warcraft is called Split Cloud Wolf. It is a warcraft known for its strong body in the world of Warcraft. Its physical strength is enough to tear a 3-star semi-emperor to pieces. He lives on Qinggeng Mountain, the deepest part of Lianyun Mountain. He lives alone. There is no more powerful warcraft within tens of thousands of miles. Xiao Yan frowned when he heard the speech. It seems that the threat of the Split Cloud Wolf is not small. If he lives alone, he occupies such a large mountain range. I really don't know if he is stronger. He won't let people stay in the mainland. Xiao Yan exclaimed for a long time, and then he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. It's good to have strength. No one dares to attack, Ghost Break Door. Although I don't know why you know so much about me, since you have to let me do it, don't blame me next time. In that case, Brother Luo, I don't know when we're leaving. After feeling a lot in his heart, Xiao Yan asked Luo Jin. Although the words were plain, Luo Jin could also hear a trace of eagerness. Luo Jin smiled and looked at the edge of the sky in the distance. His eyes were filled with wisdom. On that horizon, a cloud with a little red light gathered in the sky. The scorching sun, which had been hot all day, has also been included in the West Mountain. In the evening, it came quietly. Seeing this, Xiao Yan gently picked his eyebrows. With his heart, he naturally understood a little. Xiao Yan nodded and looked at the red sunset. Without turning his head, he said, Is it because it's getting dark? Luo Jin smiled again, nodded slightly, and said in a flat tone, The Split Cloud Wolf can strengthen himself with the help of the power of the moon at night. In addition, the cover of the night and the natural speed of his wolf family, if you really find him, I'm afraid even if you and I try our best, it's impossible to go out 300 rounds in his hands. Xiao Yan heard the speech and sighed lightly. Then he sat directly in the field, closed his eyes and concentrated, and began to practice. Luo Jin raised his eyebrows and smiled. He is really a madman of cultivation. He has to practice hard at this time. Luo Jin shook his head slightly, his eyes closed slightly, and the power of his soul spread out from his body. Within a few breathing time, he brought back the 2 rabbits. Late at night, in the jungle, a campfire was emitting patches of fire, shining on the surrounding grass and ancient trees, as if it had been coated with a thin layer of gold paint. Xiao Yan and Luo Jin sat on the ground, with some light on their faces, and their dark bright hair became golden. Luo Jin tore off a piece of meat dripping with oil on the campfire, handed it to Xiao Yan and said, Maybe the roast is not good. I hope Brother Yang Xiao will forgive me. Xiao Yang smiled and nodded. He took the meat from Luo Jin and bit it. But the next moment, Xiao Yang's mouth movement was a sudden meal, and the whole person's face suddenly became iron blue. Xiao Yang twitched slightly at the corners of his mouth. He stared at Luo Jin with an ugly face and didn't say a word. Seeing this, Luo Jin thought Xiao Yang suspected him, so he quickly opened his mouth and explained. Brother Yang Xiao, I didn't poison here. How could we deliberately harm you when we first met? Xiao Yang smelled the speech, his face was still iron green, and his face seemed to have some speechless meaning to Luo Jin. After a long time, Xiao Yang stuck out his tongue, his face twitched slightly, couldn't pronounce clearly, and said in a disorderly tone. You. Haven't you cooked? As soon as he said this, Luo Jin's face suddenly coagulated, and then he smiled awkwardly and bowed his head. Xiao Yang also smiled. Unexpectedly, Luo Jin can't even cook. He really doesn't know how he survived in the wild. Luo Jin seemed to know what Xiao Yang thought, smiled awkwardly again, and then said with some embarrassment. I used to buy enough dry food before I came out, so I haven't cooked by myself. Xiao Yang is helpless. This method is really wonderful. Xiao Yang shakes his head in tears and laughter, and then his heart moves. In the center of his eyebrows, the soul power diffuses rapidly and spreads around. In a few breaths, 2 fat rabbits flew to Xiao Yang's face. The heart reads a move, Xiao Yang in Luo Jin's envious eyes, a few times has been cleaned up. Soon, the two were sprinkled with spices. People felt their appetite at a glance, and the delicious food appeared in front of Luo Jin. You're welcome. Luo Jin stretched his hands forward, hugged one first, and began to eat big mouthfuls under his mouth. Xiao Yang smiled and tore off a rabbit leg from the barbecue and ate it in a big bite. One night passed. Next day, a ray of sunlight passed through the layers of shade and shone on the ground in front of them. The two people who had closed their eyes and crossed their knees suddenly opened their eyes at the moment of the sun. They looked at each other and nodded. They got up together and flew to the depths of the mountain forest. At the moment, their actions are almost the same. Although their strength is different, Xiao Yang's means perfectly make up for all this. They are like close friends who have known each other for many years. During their flight, Xiao Yang turned to Luo Jin and asked, Brother Luo, have you come up with any plans? Otherwise, I'm afraid it's a little dangerous for you and me to deal with the split cloud wolf together. When Luo Jin heard the speech, the corners of his mouth hooked up and tilted a confident arc. He turned his head and smiled at Xiao Yang and said, It's natural. Otherwise, it's really difficult to deal with him with the strength of you and me. Oh, then, I don't know what Brother Luo's method is. Let's hear it. It's also convenient to act at that time. Luo Jin nodded when he heard the speech and then continued to speak to Xiao Yang. Although the split cloud wolf has terrible strength, it is extremely afraid of the sun. At that time, you and I will lead him out of his cave together, and you will block his cave. At the moment when he is restrained by the sun, I will hurt him first with one of my fighting skills, so as to hold him down. You just need to go to his cave and get what you and I need. Xiao Yang nodded and agreed, but then he frowned and asked, I don't know what Brother Luo wants. It's convenient for me to get it at that time. Qianqiu Jade Essence, a blue and blue spirit stone, should grow many Qianqiu flowers where it is located. This can be refined into a high-level pill, which is good for your cultivation. You can take it, but I hope you can help me get the Qianqiu Jade Essence that day. If you get it, I owe Brother Yang Xiao a great favor. Luo Jin will thank you first. With that, Luo Jin stopped in the air, arched his hand to Xiao Yang, bent slightly and expressed his gratitude to Xiao Yang. This video will end here.